When I was a kid growing up in Hillsboro, I was raised by my grandparents, and it was always, you knew it was a special day when my grandmother would serve dinner rolls with the dinner. Typically it was Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, and Easter Sunday. And since today is Easter Sunday, we're going to make dinner rolls to go with our dinner today. I don't recall my grandmother ever making these. She would buy them frozen and then thaw them out and bake them. And so anyway, it was one of those days where she would pull out the china and you ate on the nice plates and typically gathered around the dining room table as a family. And so anyway, I'm going to grab the camera here. Our recipe includes 8 ounces by volume of whole milk that we will heat to 100 degrees. How do you know it's 100 degrees? Take its temperature. And we also have 2 1/4 ounces of sugar that I conveniently store in the flour container. And that is by weight. And we have 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast. And next to that, we have 15 ounces of all-purpose flour. How do you know you have 15 ounces? You weigh it. Go see Denise at Gourmet Chef downtown. She will sell you one of those. And we have 2 egg yolks. And we have 2 1/2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And we also have 4 ounces of USB at room temperature. I took that out earlier and set that in a window in the sun to soften it up. USB unsalted butter. Okay, 45 seconds in my oven, or microwave oven, excuse me. Takes me to 102.2. I'm happy with that. So we pour in the milk, sugar, the yeast, flour, the egg yolks, and the salt. We will hold off on the butter. And according to the directions, we will mix this for 5 minutes on low speed. Okay, 5 minutes of TV time has flown by. The next step is kind of get some of this off the sidewalls. Rub it into a little bowl down there. And then we are going to cover this with a clean dish towel for 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes of TV time has flown by. We're going to put in a half stick of butter, unsalted butter. That's 2 ounces. And we're going to switch over to the dough hook. As you can see, I have washed my hands and put hand sanitizer on so much my skin is dry and itchy. Okay. Now once we get this butter somewhat incorporated, we're going to let it knead for about 8 minutes. But it's going to take a while to get all of this butter incorporated in. It takes a little while. Your patience will be rewarded. As you can see now, I had to work it just a little bit with a spatula to get it to get up into the dough hook. So now we will set our timer for 8 minutes. This is what we're looking for. The butter is coming off the sides of the bowl and getting incorporated up into the dough. So we will let this go for 8 minutes. Now this dough will do all kinds of goofy things as you're kneading it. It's going to really stick to the bottom of the pan, and you're going to think, oh my gosh, I got to stick a bunch of more flour in there. Well, we do not get that temptation to do that. I did stop it and I've scraped it down a little bit, but eventually it'll start coming together as a nice cohesive ball, and then the stuff you see on the sides, it's going to end up pulling that off of the sides of the bowl and kind of clean the sides. Right now I'm going to let this probably go a couple more minutes since I did stop it, and so it's slow to come together, but it does come together. Hopefully you can see that in there, but now the dough has definitely cleaned off the sides. In his cookbook he says medium speed. I went on speed number 3, which is about halfway between off and medium speed. So it took a little longer, so I actually took this about 13 minutes. So we will now shut that off, and we'll get our glass jar to let this rise. Okay, now we're going to take the dough out of the pan. It's a very sticky dough. But with all the butter and stuff in there, it's kind of neat because you can almost see the striations in it from the gluten formation. I'm just gonna, oops, pull that out of there. Got a little bit in there. Now, we'll take and knead this a couple of times by hand. That's a very, very soft dough compared to some of the other doughs that I've done. It's very rich.
No. No.
Okay. And what we'll do, form this into a little jellyfish. Go around like that. And put it into our patented rising device here. And watch out. For God's sakes. Forgot the rubber band. Mark that with a rubber band. We'll do that trick in the oven again. Turn it on 350 for 1 minute. And this will rise for about 1 hour. Let's pick that with a little stick on top.
Wear that stuff.
Okay, as you can see, an hour of TV time has gone by. Our dough has doubled in volume. So what we're going to do, sprinkle just a little bit of flour on the countertop. And we will get this to come out. And we do punch this dough down. Redistribute the little yeasties. Move the little air bubbles around, and now what we're going to do, we're just going to take and roll this up. Oops. Okay. Dough scraper, very wet dough. Now this is a step that my mother-in-law mercilessly teases me about. We're going to make 12 dinner rolls. So I'm going to convert this over to grams. Put that on there. Zero the scale out.
Oh.
Come on.
Stop.
Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. And we're going to put this in there. And what I have is 814 grams. Okay? So, what we will do... Oh, come on. 814 divided by 12, so about 67 to 68 grams per dinner roll. Trust me, if I do this without weighing it, I will have an uber dinner roll and I will have little dinner rolls. I want these to be somewhat the same size. So, got my scale there, zeroed it out again. It's 48, 56, 61. After a while you'll get the hang of how big these, okay, that's 73. Take a little bit back. That's 68 right there. Okay, so that is dinner roll number 1. So you kind of get the picture of how we're going to do this. I will, 58. That's way too much. 75. 64. 69. Close enough. Okay, that's 2. I will go through and continue separating these out. Okay, now I have those made into 12 equal portions. So what I'm going to do now is combine all the, if there's little pieces together. Gotta roll my sleeves up. Roll those into a ball. And then I'm going to flatten them and just divide it into 3. I'm not going to weigh at this point. And then each of these 3 balls, form them into a ball. And put them in to the muffin tin. Okay, I will keep working on them. One thing I forgot to mention when I was doing this about the ball formation. Again, I'm just eyeballing these. When you form your balls, I forgot one step. You're supposed to make nice round tops. Take and pinch them at the bottom. So you get a nice, you know, I didn't do that on those, but I will do that on the rest of these. Form them into a little ball and then start pinching them at the bottom so you get a nice tight smooth skin on the surface of the ball. So that is a step I forgot to mention. Let's take and pull that to the bottom, pinch on it, whoops, and then slip that into your muffin tin. We have all of our muffins or dinner rolls shaped and formed. Now we're going to just brush a little bit of melted unsalted butter onto the tops. And then once we get these all coated, we will cover them with saran wrap and do the oven trick again, 350 for 1 minute, shut it off, and then put these in to let them rise for at least another half hour until these little balls double in volume. So that is the next step, and after that then we will bake them. Okay, we got those covered with butter. Take a little film de plastique, loosely cover them. Very loosely cover them, allow them room to rise. And then we'll put those in a warm oven to rise again. As you can see, these have doubled in volume. They've gotten quite puffy. So we will preheat the oven to 400 degrees, and then we will bake these for 8 to 10 minutes. Those have been in the, I went about 10 minutes on these, and now pan. Get these flipped up right. Little hands already eating the dinner rolls. Now imagine serving these with meatballs and gravy and sopping up that gravy. I must admit, this is the only time that my wife tells me I have nice buns. So anyway, you too can make these at home. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And most of all, try it and you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Have a good day.